Hey everyone, I'm Kate Kennedy and I'm here with day 16 of 100 Days of Kane, Pennsylvania. And I'm standing right outside the community center, which is on Fraley Street and an amazing resource in our town. And it really came together because a group of people, I'm gonna flip you around and we're gonna go inside and talk with Dave Carlson, one of the people who originally helped build this awesome place. You around, we're walking right in. Hello, Dave.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Thanks so much for taking time with us today. So we're going to talk about the community center. Will you?
Oh, sure. The community center kind of came from an idea of different, that was before my time. But one of the things I can remember doing, which we really had a good time, is right above the Moose Club in the winter months, a man named Joe Ferrano, who we used to call Joe Tasty Freeze. He went ahead and opened up the Moose Clubs, and we would go there. And one of the things that he did when he first opened it up is he said that you are going to be the law enforcement. So he started us into, we were our own governing body, so to speak.
And how old were you then?
I was in senior high, so I would have been, probably 15, 16, 17, somewhere around there. Well, 15, 16, yeah. And so we had that, and he had it for a couple of years, and it worked out great. But Joe got a little bit sick and stuff like that, so he couldn't do it anymore, and we really missed that. So when my wife Judy and I had started having kids, and we were thinking this would be a great place for a place to put something in. That was kind of like my dream.
Yeah, what year was this?
Let's see, when I started looking around, I'd say about 1995, 96. And don't hold me on those dates, believe me. So anyway, I started looking around, trying to find a place to start a center like that. And what I wanted to do is have booths like we used to, where you could go in with a date or your friends or whatever and get a Coke. Have a couple pinball machines. That's what was around when I was a kid. But of course, then they came into the arcade games. So the first place was Poppin' Necks. We were going to try to get that set up where there used to be dances there. And matter of fact, I was in a band that used to play at the dances and stuff like that. So I thought, why not try that? So we were going to go ahead and do it. Muff Nicolazo was the owner at the time, and we were ready to move everything in, and then we got caught up in just one glitch, and that was that there was an apartment underneath, and they might not like all the noise and stuff like that. So we had to go ahead, and he told me he wished that he could do it, but he has to go ahead and think of his tenant first. So then I started looking around again, and Judy Zelina got a hold of me because she heard that I was looking for a place, and she says there used to be a bowling alley underneath my place in Judy's shop. And so I went down, and there was a bowling alley down there, and we thought, well, maybe that'd be a good place. So started cleaning it up and stuff like that, and marking the walls and figuring out where we could have different things like the air hockey and stuff like that. And then we got to talking, and we thought, you know what? You're going to be walking down this alley, and it's the alley between Judy's place and going towards where the old Temple Theater used to be. We thought this is going to be hazardous because I know what it was like when I was cleaning up and trying to go up and down the alley in the wintertime. So I thought this isn't going to work. So we both come to that agreement. Somebody's going to get hurt. Then you just have to start looking at liabilities. So then I just kind of lost the gumption for a little bit, and a foundation came into Kane, and I'm thinking that was around 96, 97 maybe 96. But anyway, it was called Headwaters, and so what they did is they had a meeting down at the middle school, and I didn't go to the first one. I didn't think much of it, but anyway, they had the first meeting, and Deep Ardini got a hold of me and said, "You've got to come to this meeting." she said, there's going to be another one, and she says, we've told them about your idea and what you would like to do. And there's other people that are on the same track. So I went to the next meeting, and what this was is there was a foundation came in, Headwaters came in to small towns like this, and to help them try to get some of the things started that they have been trying to, but they didn't have maybe the maybe some of the business support, how to go about it. And so we started that, and they said to come up with 8 to 9 ideas. So we came up with different ideas, and I don't remember them all. I know that one of them was this community center. One of them was a library. One of them was a trade school, and different people took the chair for different ideas that they wanted to get started. And for some reason, I went ahead and my head went up and down when they asked me if I wanted to go ahead and chair it. So that's pretty much how that did. And with this chair came a group of great people who all had something like this in mind. Mm-hmm. And I never knew that there were more people in town that wanted to do the same thing that I did. And so we came about. So
That's
this
cool.
is how this pretty much came about.
Have a group of people that all had the same idea and passion for it. That really makes it even more exciting to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And so what was this building when you guys
It was
got
McCrory's. It was a five and dime. Mm-hmm. And the 5 and dimes were going out. Mm-hmm. You know, the malls were taken over, and it was a shame, because I'll tell you what, this is a great place. It was really neat.
It was around for a long time.
Oh yeah, and you could come here and you can get anything you wanted. Mm-hmm. You know.
But what a great use of it now. I mean, it didn't go to
yeah.
waste. Can you take us around and show us some
Sure.
different spots and tell us some stories?
Yeah, yeah. First off, years come in, and one of the people that was transferred here the commotion that was going on here. So he come in one day, and he asked what was going on, and I told him, and I was telling him how we needed to do different things here, and he says, well, can I help? He said, I'd be more than happy to volunteer. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. And I said, what do you do? And he said, well, he says, anything that I'm allowed to do, he says, I won't cause that much trouble with this first. And so we went ahead and we started working on that. And he started doing electrical work and whatever, and Scott was a huge, huge help. He became one of the directors because he liked it so much.
That's awesome.
We miss him, you know, Scott passed away, but I'll tell you what, he kind of left his memories here whenever I think of this stuff.
Yeah, that's a great legacy to leave.
Yeah, and then right here, if you look at the walls, you can see where the dark marks. Here were there was a scout troop, and I was a merit badge leader for the Boy Scouts, and one of the badges was home repair and carpentry. So we brought the Boy Scouts in here, and they could go ahead and get their badges. Well, right up here, commotion and all this laughter and stuff. And right in here, they had taken out part of the wallpaper, and it came out in a great big sheet, and right behind it, if I remember correctly, was girdles were right up in here. And then on the other side of the window was brassieres, and they were laughing. I mean, that finished that night, because we didn't have any work left after that. I mean, all they wanted to do was just keep running up there and having somebody take pictures of them underneath. You could see in, but we wanted light, and I have to go ahead and wash them all the time. So anyway, we got a hold of Pierce Glass, and he used to be a bricklayer and stuff like that. So he says, we could go ahead and put them in. I've seen them. I've never really worked with them much, I've seen these, a lot of banks around town were made out of these things. But Harry said, yeah, he said, I've laid them. And once again, Scott did is we went ahead and we put all the glass block windows in.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Allows a lot of great light in.
Right.
Awesome.
Right. And people ask us, why do we put in benches like this? And as they're asking why we're putting benches in, they're going like this and they're sitting. So why do you put thinking, there you go. And this works out great. You know, once in a while you get the little kids that just love to run up stuff like that. So, and then of course all our heating and electrical work and everything like that's in here. The floor, all the tile off the floor. Well, we picked it up because most of it was loose, and every time you walked, you were kicking a piece of tile over. And we were trying to figure out what we could, put down. Well, one of the biggest contributors to this place was Kane Hardwoods. And they said that we will go ahead and donate the floor. You will have to put it down. Well, with that in mind, there was a carpentry apprenticeship school that was looking for a project. So they went ahead and brought their carpenter apprentices in to put this floor down. So these guys, they donated their time, and they also went ahead and they got hours for putting down a floor and learned how to go ahead and put in a tongue and groove floor.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And back here is one of the best places in the whole area,
Right.
I think.
This place here is, you kind of choke up once in a while when you think about it. But this is Steve's place. This is where we wanted booths like we had with the kids when I was a kid. Popcorn. We had a popcorn machine. That's downstairs. It's a big one. And we had hot dogs, and then we had a little pizza oven. Bring the kids in, and we would have dances, and bring the kids in. Maybe it worked, but it didn't catch on like we thought it would. So So anyway, we were trying to figure out how to set up something where people could come in and sit and just go to there. So we come up with this here. My dad was a carpenter. He lived in Bradford, and I was telling about this, and he was pretty much keeping track of what was going on, and I would fill him in once in a while. So he says, why don't you and I an old time roof over it? So I said, that's a great idea. So we got the material. Materials were donated. Gave us the 2x6s and stuff like that, and then the particle board set over a bunch of board. Well, we went and got them, and so I would be working on these at night after my regular work, and Steve German would come in every night, and we'd sit, and we had a big pile of particle board and the 2x6s sitting right here. And so Steve would come in, and a lot of times I'd be working here by myself, and we would sit here and talk, and we'd talk about DARE that Steve was running, and was a fan. I wish we could get it back in. But so we would sit here and talk about different things, and he was to go ahead and bring kids in off the street, that they could go ahead and come in. He just went over there, but one of us went over there and says, "Why don't you come on in?" And he says, "What are you doing?" 9 or 10 years. He said, "Well, we're making a place so you can come and play and have a good time." "Oh, can I help?" he said. So we said, "Yeah." So every Saturday, and we would give him a broom and he would help. Left, one of us gave him a hug, How do I want to say? Mission is for every kid that comes in here, when they leave, they were going to have at least a smile or a hug, you know. And you could give kids hugs at that time. But anyway, so whenever he left, he would get a smile or a hug. So one time, and I never even thought anything about it. We were bringing in the 2x6s, and and we were pretty busy. And we got done, and we broke because we were pretty well tired, and so I went ahead and everybody left, and I was locking the front door, and I looked, and he's standing there, and he's got a couple tears in his eyes, and I says, "What's the matter?" He says, "Did I do something wrong?" And I says, "No, why?" And he says, "Well, I didn't get a hug."
Oh.
So, you know, I gave him a hug, and I always remember that.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of touching. He, you know, he didn't have a dad, but he would always come up and help and stuff like that.
And it really serving the purpose.
Well, it did, you know, and it gave this place a whole lot more meaning.
Yeah. You could see it before it was even finished.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, these are great stories, Dave. Thank you so much for sharing them. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Well, yeah, that this community center wasn't built by just one person. You know, it was built by Kane. You know, it's a community. I mean, Kane came together when we had our fundraiser. We started our fundraiser to try to make money to get this going. And if I'm wrong, Michelle will probably go ahead and she'll
Let us know.
She'll let me know, that's for sure.
But yeah, it really was a community effort.
It was not just one person, it was a whole bunch.
Well, thank you so much. It must be so rewarding to see your dream become reality.
Well, mine and a lot of other people's,
Yeah.
yes. It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it has gone farther than I ever even thought it would be. This was going to be something for kids, and now the whole town uses it. We've got a beautiful physical fitness center downstairs, you know, with all the bells and the whistles. This one's being the one on the opioids. So
Yeah.
no, this has gone way above what we dreamed it would come out to be.
Isn't that great? And who knows what the future holds?
Exactly.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us.
How kids feel safe and welcome here from before it was even opened.